Bentayga is only the fourth completely new design to be produced by Bentley since Volkswagen took ownership of the company in 1998, but it's certainly the most significant. The car takes the brand into previously uncharted territory and can allow owners the same capability should they wish to stretch its limits. It is, quite simply, one of the world's most complete and compelling luxury products.
Just how do you go about creating a car like this? Make a huge, prestigious SUV sporty, and usually it can't also be properly capable off-road. Yet the Bentayga had to be both, offering limousine luxury even when lapping a racetrack at up to 187 miles an hour, while using the same suspension that must be unbelievably tough, inching over rocks in the desert at a 3 miles an hour crawl. It's all very well to question the need for cars of this sort, but you can't deny that they do stretch the limits of what we previously thought possible. Inevitably, the technology necessary to achieve all of this is hugely impressive, as it probably should be for the kinds of money being asked here, and especially in this diesel version, which features a 435 PS triple-charged 4-litre V8 engine using an electrically driven supercharger in addition to the usual pair of turbos. That's enough to put out 900 newton meters of pulling power, and that's the same as you'll get in the alternative 608 PS 6-litre W12 petrol model that the majority of Bentayga buyers choose. That's despite the fact that the diesel is of course far more economic, capable of 35.3 mpg and 210 grams per kilometre of CO2 emissions.
A 550 PS twin-turbo 4-litre petrol V8 is also available.
Now, if you're going to hurl a 2.5-ton gentleman's SUV with this kind of power at a corner, you better have plenty in hand to make it feel tied down, which is why Bentley has developed a dynamic ride control setup with electric actuators that act to either loosen or stiffen the anti-roll bars depending on the way that you're driving. This works in concert with various tarmac-orientated driving modes that make the usual tweaks to the steering feel, the ride quality and the gear change timings, and also an air suspension system that also facilitates a surprising degree of off-piste prowess. An optional all-terrain specification pack provides a further set of off-road modes to optimise that, with each drive setting featuring throttle, brake, gearbox and suspension inputs tailored to suit the required conditions. Now, if this was merely a conventionally large, luxurious SUV, you'd start to question the point of all this, given that, of course, a typical Bentayga will spend its life negotiating the hazards of the suburbs rather than those of the Serengeti. But of course, this is not a conventional large luxury SUV, which is exactly why so many potential buyers are likely to want one. Not everyone likes the look of this car, but there does seem to be agreement on one important point, that it looks like a Bentley. Now, just as Porsche did with its original Cayenne SUV, the crew maker has struggled to translate its styling demeanour into a car of this kind, with an aesthetically divisive end result. Still, the shape certainly has the street side presence that many likely buyers will want. Enough on the outside, let's get to the part of the car that will probably really sell it to you. Now, you may have had reservations about the looks of a Bentayga, or if you're a journalist, you may have been obsessing about the fact that it shares a few substructures with humbler Audi and Volkswagen models, but all of those issues simply vanish away the moment that the enormous door heaves shut behind you like a bank vault. Almost everything here feels pleasurably different to anything you'll have experienced in any previous car from the brand, and that starts, of course, with the way that you're seated. Now, no matter how much you've prepared yourself for the idea of a Bentley SUV, it's still a novel experience to find yourself gazing at the famous brand badge from such a high and commanding seating position. And although you of course expect the cabin to be luxuriously finished, it's still surprising to find the sheer lengths the company's gone to in terms of substance, sophistication and craftsmanship. I mean, it's to a level unsurpassed even by one of the company's Mulsanne models, costing nearly twice as much. Of course, it may be that you're one of those Bentayga owners who isn't too interested in sitting at the front, in which case an equally special experience at the rear awaits. There's plenty of room to stretch out and just as much luxury and craftsmanship as you'll find up front. The quilted door cards, the organ stop vents, it's all here too. Let's finish with a look at the boot. Now, the sheer size of this car suggests that it'll have an enormous boot, but not a bit of it. In fact, the 484 litre capacity is less than you get in a small hatchback-based SUV like a BMW X1. On the plus side, the seat back is split 40-20-40, allowing you to carry really long items like skis without disturbing a couple of rear-seated folk. And as part of the air suspension system, there's this useful little button on the left-hand cargo wall that allows you to drop the loading height down to make getting heavier items in and out that bit easier. In summary, you can see why it took the Bentley brand so long to get around to bringing us this car. But having tried it, we've ended up being very glad they did. Of course, there will always be people who will sneer at the concept behind this kind of super luxury SUV. As one writer put it, never again need you be stuck up a creek without a China dinner service. Still, if you can get over your prejudices and appreciate this model for what it's managed to achieve, there's lots to like here. Contrary to what some people might tell you, it's very much its own car, very much unique. And best of all, it's very much a Bentley, which, if you'd like one, will be exactly what you want to hear.